Welcome to the final episode of Season 13 of ECCB Connects. The world has gone through a drastic shift in recent times due to the Covid-19 pandemic. The way we live, learn, and work has changed overnight. Children now receive their lessons virtually. Family and friends visit each other over the internet. And employees all over the world are now working from home. This is no different for the ECCB. In the interests of the safety and well-being of staff and the people we serve, since March 30th, 2020, the majority of ECCB staff have been working from home, all while maintaining a high level of service to the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. How has it been for staff to perform their duties outside of the normal work environment? And what adjustments have they had to make? On today's episode, some members of the ECCB staff will answer these questions and more as they share their experience of how they've continued to serve the people of our region from home. We'll also look at what the bank has done to keep staff motivated and help them maintain a work-life balance. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
ECCB Digital Dialogues. Join Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy N.J. Antoine, and a panel of experts for the fourth and final part of the discussion on pandemic and digital currency this Thursday, 30th July from 8 p.m. Learn more about the digital ECCash, Dcash, how you can obtain it, and how you can use it to pay for your goods and services. Visit the ECCB's website and Facebook page for more information and registration details. Be part of the conversation as we take collective action to transform our region now. ECCB Digital Dialogues, stimulating public discourse and building regional solidarity.
Thanks for staying connected with us. I have with me Christopher Lord, Director of the bank's Supervision Department, Jolene Newton, Acting Director of the Human Resource Department, and Lyle Mack, Deputy Director in the Management Information Systems Department. Jolene, even before the first case of coronavirus was recorded in St. Kitts and Nevis, the bank had already started putting certain measures in place to facilitate telecommuting.
Yes, Karina. So the bank tried to be very proactive in this regard because I think leading up to the actual cases, we would have been keeping in touch with the media worldwide and recognize that, of course, it had gotten to pandemic level and we had to prepare. And the safety of our staff, as well as keeping our mandate for the region, were both important to us. And so it was very easy for the governor to take that decision to ensure that while we were able to work, we would be safe. And so it was felt that being home, based on the recommendations of the World Health Organization, for example, staying safe was important to us. And so that decision was very easy. And we did that after certain protocols internally for testing to make sure that it was feasible. Though it was a limited test, because of the success rate, we were able to work from home very early.
Now, Lyle, information technology is a very important component of the whole telecommuting process. What systems or what measures did the bank put in place to ensure that staff could work from home in an efficient and effective manner?
So, as Jolie indicated, we had to test. We already had infrastructure in place, but what we had to do was ensure that we could scale up the infrastructure so that all staff can telecommute. So without getting too technical, we had to scale up our remote access solution. As you know, the ECCB is a regional organization, so we already have staff working remotely in our agency offices. So we had to scale up the infrastructure to ensure all staff could telecommute. We also had to provide devices to staff, laptops, desktops, so that staff could work from home.
Chris, your department performs one of the bank's critical functions, that is the supervision of commercial banks and non-bank institutions. Now, what adjustments have you and your team had to make to continue to carry out this function in the telecommuting mode?
One of the things that we've had to do in terms of adjusting is in terms of our flexibility of our approach. As some of you may be aware, we utilize what we call a risk-based supervisory approach. And that particular approach is cyclical, meaning it follows a particular cycle. And there are two parts of an RBS approach. There's what we call an off-site surveillance, and there's the on-site examination or inspection. In terms of our off-site surveillance, there's not been much change because this is what we do on an ongoing basis, where we have constant interaction and communication with our licensees. We review in terms of what we call their risk-focused information. That includes board packages, the minutes of their meetings, their financial statements, their monthly management accounts, and so on. And what we do while sitting at the central bank is determine their risk profile of the institution and determine what supervisory action that we would take. That part of our work has not changed. So whether we are sitting in our office at the central bank or we're working from home, we have all the resources in place in terms of all the remote access solution to continue to do that. So that has not changed. On that particular point, perhaps one of the most, the change that we've made the most in terms of more frequent meetings, we've had to engage our licensees a bit more. As it relates to our on-site inspection or examination, that's where the major change has happened. Because with the states of emergency that has been issued in our member countries and the restrictions on travel arrangements, as Lyle mentioned before, we are a multi-state central bank, so usually we would have to travel to our licensees in our other 7 member countries in order to conduct on-site inspections. We have not been able to do that. So that's where and that's mainly statutory because of the states of emergency and the restrictions on travel. What we are hoping to do when our borders have opened and we're able to travel, that we will pick that up immediately. So that's where we've been mainly impacted in our ability to conduct on-site inspections.
Now, as managers, you're tasked with leading your team, motivating them, and now all of this is happening remotely. And it's a new experience because all of a sudden you've moved from being in the same physical space, providing that direct supervision and interaction, and now everything is done online. How are you managing in this new normal? Lyle, I'll start with you.
It has been a challenging experience, but it's not one that we have not been able, it's not a challenge that we have not been able to meet. So it requires a shift or change in mindset. It requires doing a lot more virtual collaboration. But the team members who can speak for themselves, but I can say that we have been able to meet the challenge and we have been able to deliver on our work.
Jolene, what about you? How do you manage to keep your staff motivated during this remote work situation?
From where I sit, my expectations were outlined very early. As Lyle indicated, you have to change your mindset. It's not a physical issue, it's about delivery. We set clear expectations. We started meeting more regularly as a department. So that was one of the quick shifts that we made to make sure that we kept in touch with each other. And so we also kept in touch with what was happening with each staff member. So regular check-ins to ensure that, outside of the work remit, that personally persons were able to overcome whatever challenges they were facing from their end so that, we could lend whatever support. And flexibility, adaptability were the order of the day. I think they've become the norm for us now. So the team, they've been really supportive. The creativity came about even more than usual because it was a challenge for us now to see how could we rise to the occasion. So I would say that the transition, it was a learning experience for us, but one that we adapted to quickly.
And Chris, what have you?
Our experience has been very similar to what Lyle and Jolene has said. I think one of the clear issues and the clear things that we have to set out, or we had to set out at the start of the working from home, is in terms of timely communication. So in addition, as Jolene mentioned, flexibility in terms of how we work. we recognized very early on that it's not about sitting at your desk, but the focus had to be about deliverables. Everyone had a different home environment, so there were some persons who were dealing with children who were at home from school and so on. So very early on, we set a time frame that we call, okay, this is our available time. So we'll all be available from 8 to 4, 9 to 5. But that doesn't mean that I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm available to take a call. I'm available to respond to an email, or as the case may be. So there was an item or an area of flexibility. We had to be flexible in how we work. So the key thing was flexibility, timely and open communication, and in terms of schedule and routine, so that people get into a routine, and also that emphasis on deliverables. So some people may work better at 4 a.m. in the morning. Some people may work better at 12 midnight. But that's up to you while you're working from home. The key issue is on delivering on that assignment that you've been tasked.
Both managers and staff have had to make adjustments as the ECCB took steps to ensure that it continued to provide quality service to the people of the ECCU. We now hear from some members of staff about their telecommuting experience.
With telecommuting, significant changes and adjustments, as you know. For me, I actually started telecommuting a week before the ban commenced because of the in-country situation in Anguilla, whereby I needed to be home to supervise my young son. So I started a week before the bank, and it has been quite an adjustment. Managing the household, parenting, teaching, because my son would have had online schooling. So I felt that I was wearing multiple hats as a professional person, a parent, a teacher, guiding him with his online classes and activities and projects. So everything was happening at the same time in a different workspace, which for me, that was also significant because based on my home environment, I did not have a separate home office or study. So everything is happening in the same space. So that comes with its own distractions. So it was quite an adjustment.
My experience is somewhat unique in the sense that here I am, due to commence a new job, and at the same time or simultaneously, we have this pandemic and we have a shutdown, and we're asked to more or less work from home and businesses are closed and what have you. So here I am, very apprehensive and wondering, I'm about to start a new job and how am I going to work? Working from home is very different from working within the office. Within the office, you have some structures. It is very structured, and at home can be very fluid with the family around and the kids around and what have you. So it is, for me, what I try to do is I try to get up or wake up very early before my son to ensure that I get a good head start. So I try to develop that routine where I start my day very early. I try to sit at my desk or my designated area very early and get a head start, read up on my messages, write my notes, and what I want to accomplish for the day.
I think for most persons, because we really used to leaving home behind and going to work, and then leaving work behind and then going home, and then having the two combined, it was difficult initially. So then what I had to do was actually have set times for work and set times for everything else. I also had to have a cutoff time, because it's so easy to, you're just working and you don't even realize that 4 or 5 o'clock has gone, and you're just trying to meet a deadline and trying to meet a deliverable. So then I had to make a decision to have a cutoff time. So then I had to separate my day into my personal time and my family time and work time.
Me, along with some of the other new recruits, we started in March, so it was a bit abrupt being thrust into the telecommuting environment. I didn't get a chance to get used to the campus. I got to be at my desk for maybe just a few days because we were in training for a while. So, you know, I definitely don't share the view of missing the campus maybe as much as some others do, since I never really got used to it. Since my working experience has been mostly telecommuting, so that has been something I've never done. So it took quite a while to get used to. It was definitely difficult in the beginning in terms of time management and balance, because, you know, the computer is there, the work is there. Sometimes you feel like you also have to always be there. And I think I have to find the balance between that and, of course, taking care of my son. And, you know, he's just 6 months old, so you can tell that was quite a task. But I found making a schedule for myself really helped, and I think I'm definitely in the groove of things now.
We are students of the Roseau Primary School in Dominica, and you are watching ECCB Connects.
We now present Did You Know?
Did you know that the agreement establishing the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ECCB as the monetary authority for the 8 ECCB participating governments was signed on July 5, 1983 in Trinidad and Tobago? The signatories at that time were Honorable Lester Bird, Deputy Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Dame Mary Eugenia Charles, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Maurice Bishop, Prime Minister of Grenada, Honorable John Osborne, Chief Minister of Montserrat, Honorable Kennedy Simmons, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable John Compton, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Milton Cato, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Anguilla became a full member of the ECCB on April 1, 1987.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place at your convenience, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at ECCB Connects.
We have come to the end of Season 13 of ECCB Connects. There's much uncertainty about what lies ahead. Despite the challenges resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, the ECCB remains committed to serving you. Stay safe and be sure to stay connected with us on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the ECCB's website during the break. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us in September when we bring you new and exciting episodes about who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.